Welcome, empowered empaths, to the Power of Healing Your Energy show. This show is all about your unconditional love, your light, your intuition, your soul's purpose. And depression and anxiety are a side effect of not living intuitively, not trusting your gut, the lost connections with your higher self and others. Your soul's purpose is here. Hi, welcome to the Power of Healing Your Energy show. I'm Christine, and this is season 2, episode 12. Come on in, guys. Say hello. Of course, we have a wonderful guest, and coming in from New York, Michael Ian Cedar. He is a life coach and facilitator, and this episode is all about the legacy of you. Now, I think about legacy, I think about purpose, and many times we tend to think that legacy is all about, physical assets, wealth, accomplishments, titles, certifications. That's an ego mindset. No more of that. Your spiritual legacy is a baton that you pass on to the next and to the next and to the next. It's cyclical. So we want to know what your purpose is, your passion. What kind of legacy do you want to leave when you go home? Because ultimately we are making our way home, right, guys? And I know many of you are just pondering, like myself, asking, reflecting, as we navigate to the end of 2020. I mean, I can't believe it. What will the record of your life journey look like? And how do you want to leave? Do you want to die with the music still in you, as Leo Tolstoy would say? Or are you leaving a legacy that, how did you make people feel? How did you feel? Did you make an impact? And I mean impact from the heart, love, purpose, passion, because that's why we're here. All right, enough about me. I'm bringing Michael on, and hello.
Hello, thank you so much for having me on, Christine.
Thank you so much for being here, fellow empath.
Yeah, indeed.
Indeed. And we're just going to say hello to a few people that have come in. Demetrius.
Hello, Demetrius from London.
Yes, my brother from London. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a loyal supporter and fan. And please share this out, guys. Please like this. Please comment. And if you're on the replay, say hello as well. Ask questions. We're not going to leave you hanging. We're not that type of show. Okay? We've got you.
And if anybody has questions for me on the replay, I'll as long as you tag me, I'll see it, and I'll make sure that I come in and answer any questions, or even if you just have a statement, wow, I'll come back and I'll see that. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course. So I was reading your bio. I mean, tell a little bit about yourself, but I thought it was very interesting that you mentioned when you were 8 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I feel very fortunate. Well, fortunate and painfully fortunate at the same time. I knew early on, and we can talk a little bit about how I believe I got there. I knew early on that I wanted to help people do work that they loved. That was it. I can remember as far back as 8. I could probably go even younger than that if we, did some kind of work together, right? But I've always known my life's purpose, at the bare minimum, was to help people be more uninhibited, to help people connect to their source energy. I've always was connected to my life's purpose, which my life's purpose was to help other people live their life's purpose. Now, I do think that just my natural makeup leads to that. I care about people. I like to see big picture. I love learning about people. I love learning about even the cranky people, because I just want to be like, why are you so cranky? Like, what about it? And a lot of my training, though I'd love to say it's intuitive, I had to at least add language to it, is I'm, identify as someone with dyslexia. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. And back in the day, the education system was very based off of standardized testing. Can you write your name forward, backward, left, and right? And school just didn't serve me. Traditional school just didn't serve me the way I needed to. And so I thought I was broken. You're right. And because nobody came out and said, like, hey, you just learned it. And dyslexia has nothing to do with it, right? It's just people receive the world differently and they make decisions differently, and that's okay. So I got super, super in a weird space at an early age because I just didn't connect, right? While my friends were able to test or talk or, I just wasn't on the same track. And so my dad, I don't know if he knew what to do either. So I would get a McDonald's apple pie, which I don't know if that's the best thing in the world, but I would get a McDonald's apple pie if whatever was going on in my life, my dad would take the audio cassette of Earl Nightingale, Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, some of the best. And whatever was happening in my life, or whatever my dad thought was the problem, he would find the cassette tape that matched that, and I would get a McDonald's apple pie driving around from the age of 8 all the way until probably 13, 14 years old. So therefore I ate a lot of McDonald's apple pies if I were to listen to these. And so as I got older and into my teen years, and I saw friends that were not necessarily living their life's purpose, I just assumed everyone lived their life's purpose. Everyone chased it. Everyone pursued it. Everyone was intrigued by this idea of do what you love. So as I was in my teen years and in high school, and friends were working at the pizza parlor and miserable, I'd be like, well, why are you working there if you don't like it, right? I didn't care that they were working at the pizza parlor. I was super excited they had jobs. We could go out and play. So much of my life was just this introduction to the masters. My birds and the beestalks were from Earl Nightingale, Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, and all these greats. And it wasn't until my mid-30s that I went, oh, I just was introduced to the world in a very interesting way, the language at least that was given to me. And so I already knew at a young age I wanted to just help people do stuff that made them feel good. And then I was introduced to those thoughts, and it just compounded. So I think I'm very lucky. And again, you said before we hopped on, there's no such thing as coincidences, but I think the collection of experiences in my life, from being sad and depressed in an early age, from being exposed to these mindsets of some masters in the world, of being told, by growing up in a family of, my dad was an artist, this introduction to life that you just do what the music is inside of you, right? It's interesting because I've heard that from Wayne Dyer. It sounds like he got it from...
Yes, he got it from Leo. Yes.
He got it from Leo?
Yes.
Yeah, and so I didn't know that. So I learned something great here today. And I love that. And I really do believe my mission here as a leadership and life coach, and we can talk about the journey and how I got there too, if it attracts if it's appealing to the audience, is to help people get that music outside of themselves. If nothing else, to just help people recognize I have music inside of me, or them,
Yes.
So that's a little bit about me, and now I have a practice here in New York City on 42nd Street and 5th Ave, and it's really fun because I get to work with a true mix of very well-intended people, from super deep business 7-figure and 6-figure earners to sometimes college kids looking for their ways. And I don't have a preference. All I care about is that people want to find what that music is, and what's that life's purpose, or that North Star, or
Yes.
their deeper purpose. Whatever language we want to put to it, there's something. I believe that everyone has something unique inside of them. And I don't care if we think that's divine, that comes from a divine source. I don't care if people say, well, it's just a series of coincidences and environmental upbringing. I believe we all have something to bring. And I believe my purpose in life is to increase that number of people doing that work.
Wonderful. Yeah. You serve one and they turn around and serve someone else, and it's a domino effect. And Demetrius is just saying his purpose is to touch many hearts on this beautiful planet,
Yeah.
Mother Gaia, to raise and pick up many souls to be their highest and greatest version of themselves. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I love that last part, right? Because it's super easy, Demetrius, to say, my purpose is to touch many hearts. Super easy to say that, right? But until you can say, okay, how, right? But when I hear you, Demetrius, say, to be their highest and greatest version of themselves, there's still some ambiguity there, but then I can say, okay, how are we going to, now we have a place to go. How do we measure, am I acting as my highest self? Am I the greatest version of myself? And right, how do we know when we get there? Because we never get there, because there's always going to be that room. But that's a great journey to take and get somebody on. And man, what a gift to just give somebody to say, hey, there's another version of myself. I don't have to be the person that I am today. Right? We are constantly transforming. We are constantly evolving. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's saying thank you for sharing your insights and golden nuggets of wisdom with us all. And then he has a question.
Yes.
What is your understanding of synchronicity and serendipity?
Yeah. So, to me, we're talking about nuances of language here. But if I were to go really quickly off my go, I think a lot of serendipity is the definition of luck, when opportunity and preparation meet one another. I feel very serendipitous, and therefore very lucky that I met my wife Lauren. But I could have never met my wife Lauren if I didn't go through the pain and the suffering of the past, right? And I'm using those particular words here because this is a resource for people who identify as empaths. Am I right on that?
Yes.
Scene? Right. And so first off, I don't know anyone on this planet who hasn't felt great suffering, has not been a victim, but empaths are super aware when they're in great pain or been the victim of something. And so I find it very serendipitous I met Lauren. Do I consider meeting Lauren divine intervention? No, I don't, but I definitely think it's serendipity. It's the collective experiences of my life and the wisdom that I've learned from the suffering that I've had. That when Lauren, I say this to Lauren all the time. I could have never met Lauren prior to any relationship I ever had prior to Lauren. Lauren is the accumulation of wisdom that occurred because of my suffering, because of my joy, because of my education. And Lauren literally came. And when she came, it was like, it was this quick. That's her. I mean, literally, all my other dates after her, because I had several dates with I canceled them. I said, that's her.
Wow.
And so, Demetrius, that's serendipity. Synchronicity, maybe they're related. But on the spot, synchronicity is when you're living. It's what you said it in the opening section there. I don't know if that was pre-recorded or you were talking over it, but it was said at the beginning. I can't remember the exact words you used for it, but the intent was, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to work backwards.
Sure, no problem.
There was something that was written on the screen that I thought was super brave of you to write. And you can help me recall it, but it said something about depression and anxiety
Are linked to you not living, from your soulful self, your unconditional love, who you are at a soul level, who we all are.
Yeah. And I have to give you mad props for saying that, because I fully buy into that and adhere to that. But there's a lot of the medical world that will say and has taught, no, it's some people just have screwed up hormones, right? I'm not saying that DNA doesn't play a role. And I think it's Dave Asprey that says it. Dave Asprey is the bulletproof diet, and I love his research. His diet is not for me. I tried it; it just wasn't my cup of tea. In the end of the day, but he says DNA is the gun, but your diet is the trigger, right? And so I think the same thing is here. We could blame our DNA as much as we want. This is all to come back to serving Demetrius's question, by the way. We could say DNA. Well, that's the way God made me, the universe made me, source energy made me. We are exposed, I believe, to different set points. I believe I have a very low happy set point. I'm the first to say that. And the work I do is because I wanted to figure out, I don't want to feel like this all the time. So what can I do? Meanwhile, my wife is one of the happiest, naturally set point people I've ever met. She has her days, but I think her natural set point of happiness is like, I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. I accept her natural happy set point is there, and mine is down here, but it literally doesn't make sense to me because it is not a set point I have. And so I can blame my DNA. I could blame the body I've been given. I could blame whatever it is, but there's resources that help me align with myself that I believe can mitigate the harm that is done to my body to make it depressed. Do I still get depressed? Yeah. Do I coach people how to live their life? And I am I don't want to say a victim and an experiencer of depression. Absolutely. But I can say the depression is happening to me, or I can say the depression is happening by me. And so to come back to this, and we can explore that further if you want, but Demetrius, synchronicity is when I am living a life congruent to my value system. And when I am living out of my value system, it is an incongruent life. Mm-hmm. And synchronicity cannot occur there. And I do believe that we can use words like vibrations and energy, and those are super great words, but I liked, and I'm not against them, by the way. I'm not against using those words, but I like to coach things that I can stand behind, that I can measure. Doesn't mean I don't believe in it, but I won't coach it if I can't measure. So my point of saying this is, if I am feeling, and I'll come back to this in a second, what you have up on the screen, if I am living congruent with my value system, it's my mind, my attention is going to focus on finding those things that are also in line with what I am living. If I'm living incongruent to my value system, my mind is going to go, well, we have incongruency. Even if we don't have those words, the mind's going to spot more of whatever that is and bring it to it. It is the law of attraction in the best terms that I can explain it.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's my definition of synchronicity and my definition of serendipity. I'd have to really think about it if they are the same thing. I think they're related. That's the hell.
They are related by feeling. That's how they're connected.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yes.
I'm big on feeling tone. Even though, right? Hey, what's the feeling tone you want to sit in? Well, I want to feel like crap. Okay, then you were doing great. You won. I have nothing to coach. But if someone goes, the feeling tone I want to hold on to and have is joy. Excellent.
Joy and bliss.
Oh, God, do I love bliss. I've really fallen in love with bliss in my 40s.
I love that. I love that.
Demetrius saying, we're all energy, frequency, vibrations, always moving, changing, transforming. And I agree. But I think to wake up our world more to this idea, Demetrius, I'd love to be able to give more tangible things that can be held on to. Because I'm with Demetrius. But I think my goal is to get more people to raise their vibration, to do those things. And so My mission is to be, I've always said this I've said this before I knew what metaphysics were. I've always known I'm a bridge of whatever this is and whatever this is. I've
Yeah.
always known that. And so I am,
Above and below,
oh,
source
yeah,
and earth, source and Gaia.
I love that idea. I've never put those words to it. And that is
Mm.
accurate. I know I'm a bridge. And so it's a lot of people are like, oh, Michael's not too woohoo. Oh, trust me, I'm plenty woohoo.
Don't
But
poo-poo the woo-woo.
you don't poo-poo the woohoo. And I just really like to find things because and here's the reason why. For me, this was my personal experience. In times, let's just use depression, because I think that's a really hard one to move through, right? In the times that I feel, I don't like to call it depressed anymore. I like to call it blue. It just changes again, we're talking about language. That's it. It's the same thing. I'm having deja vu right now. What does that mean, Christine?
Well, you've had this discussion before, or you've dreamt about it, or something. It's an intersect.
Oh, we're having an intercept. So when I'm feeling blue, in the darker moments, when it's that depressed feeling, it used to last a super long time, days, weeks, months,
Yeah.
possibly
I
years.
feel you.
Yeah. Now I don't go, oh, why is this happening to me? I'm a victim to it. I go, okay, depressed. Okay, blue.
I see
feeling.
you.
I see you. I accept you. What haven't I not learned yet that this is happening? What are you trying to tell me? And I'm going to curse here. I shit you not. I can move through what used to take months into minutes.
Yeah.
And so I could sit in that space and go, vibrations, let me raise my vibrations. And maybe I'll move the needle on it a little bit. So I'm not against the raising the vibrations, but I got to go, what am I going to do to raise the vibrations? And I can imagine being surrounded by white light, but I don't know if I can hold on to that forever. That's why I like, for me, this was what works for me, is to go, all right, blue feeling. What are you trying to tell me? And then I can move, and we were talking a little about this before we came on, my feminine energy of flow and emotion and veracity, and I can take whatever that wisdom is that comes out of that silence. For me, I have to get it out of silence. Some people, it'll be tarot cards. Some people, it'll be a crystal ball. My crystal ball is the silence. I can go, hey, blue, what are you trying to tell me here? What have I not learned yet? And out of the silence will come an energy. And with that energy, I can then go to the masculine energy and go, okay, we need to face something now. Boom. And it moves it from months of depression or blueness into minutes of it.
Yeah, it's like you're fast tracking in a way because you've practiced enough and you're doing the work.
Yeah. Hey, it only took me 35 plus years to learn it, right? But
the ego has a timeline, though, so there's no timeline.
Right, the ego has a timeline, but there is no timeline. First off, I just need to say this photo, Patricia, your photo. I love everything about that. I'm assuming that's a partner.
Yes.
What a beautiful image. It really encapsulates whatever that relationship holds.
That's her and Chip. But she's a fellow empath as well. She just wants people to feel better. Not sure how I want to do that yet. Still follow breadcrumbs from source.
I push back on Patricia in the sense, and Patricia, I want you to put this in the chat section because I can see what she's writing, right? Patricia, I do think you know how to make people feel better.
She does.
Yeah, I think you do. I don't need to know you. Just seeing that photo indicates you made me feel better having that photo.
Yes.
And not that I was feeling bad, but it raised, Demetrius, if we want to use his language, it raised my vibration. It raised my ability to just go, oh, we're just being humans here, right? And so, Patricia, I'd put you to bed if I said, I give you a pen and I want you to write until you can't write anymore all the ways you know to make people happy. You can do it. And so she's saying reframing things has been crucial.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, I like the idea of calling it blue instead of depression. Yeah, it's all reframing, right? I used to train sales, and I refuse to call it sales. I call it concierge, right? We're just giving people what they want. Because if you're selling someone something they don't want, then I can't coach you. But if you're offering somebody a service, it's how you look at it, right? It's
Yeah.
very man search for meaning. We could look at it that we're victims, or we could look at it that there's something on the other side of this. And as soon as I get through, I am going to be there for it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, she's just saying blue has been a source of imposter syndrome.
Patricia, can you elaborate on that? I can imagine what that means. Now, if you mean super easy, are you saying it's easy to blame the depression for where you are? I don't understand what you. I want to. Sorry, I want to understand what you mean by that more, because that's a powerful statement.
It it kind of reminds me of like a protection. I mean, that was just the first image I had. It was like an illusion.
So let's talk about illusions. Labels create illusions. I recently, so in March, when the pandemic happened, it might have even been the beginning of April, Michael Gervais, who runs the Finding Mastery podcast, was interviewing Deepak Chopra about the pandemic. And Michael Gervais, who is the Seattle, and I'm not a sports guy, but I love and appreciate sports as a coach in that way, but I don't watch it. So Michael Gervais is the Seattle Seahawks sports psychologist. So super high level, super body, super brain, super spiritual, super connected. And he goes to Deepak, Deepak, isn't this just insane? And without missing a blink, Deepak goes, Michael, everything is insane until we call it normal. And so whenever I'm coaching someone who identifies as depressed or identifies as bipolar or borderline, my first thing is, look, I don't identify you as any of that stuff. I don't deny that you have experiences and feelings, but I do not identify you as that. You are whole and complete. And so, Christine, I'm sure that this is very in line with your coaching. Yes, I say I'm a personal growth guy, person, because that resonates with people. Personal growth indicates something's broken with me to begin with. I am a transformational coach. I already see the person in front of me as whole and complete. And what I want to do is remove the limiting belief, to remove I say Patricia said something, I'll see in a second, to remove the who am I not. I believe in the Buddhist form of growth. We don't create ourselves, we uncreate ourselves. So that's what I'm saying. I don't deny you feel blue or depressed or anxiety or whatever it is. And I don't deny that your brain's chemistry does things that might not be the way other people's brain chemistry works. I don't deny that, but I do not, for an instance, Patricia, identify and see you as depressed. So the depression makes me feel good enough.
Not good enough. It's a worthiness. I've said the world has a worthiness issue. I had it.
Oh, I had it too.
Yeah.
Who the hell am I to coach? But here's the thing, Patricia. And and Christine, I said this to you. I said, hell of a journey you've been on in your life, and you said it's continuing. Patricia, making people happy is or helping them connect to source energy. You're not going to be able to do it for everyone. That I learned the hard way, right? You're going to do it for the people who want to hear your message. Yes. And so for them to want to hear your message, you just need to be one step further along the journey than them. And so, Patricia, if you identify as blue or depressed, that means, number one, your pure acknowledgement that you have these feelings is more than a lot of people. You are already 1, 2, 3, 100, 1,000 steps further along. And isn't that what evolution is? We're not here to change the world. We're here to help the world evolve. Who are we to say the world needs changing? The world's going to change on its own without us. But in human form, we have this, I believe, obligation to evolve humanity. And so we can evolve it by using where we are today to help people who are one step behind us right now. And also and to assist the people at our level and higher. But all right. The worthiness, Patricia. I know as a coach, who am I to coach these people? Who am I to coach these? I've been very fortunate that I've been put with some of the best people in their craft, that I've been placed with them. And then originally I had imposter syndrome. I'm like, I gotta move through this one super fast. But the truth is, I just need to be one step further in knowing how to ask a question, one step further in being willing to accept myself for where I am. And so, Patricia, that's why I say I challenge you. I push back on that. And I agree with the imposter syndrome. And it's not going to go anywhere because we have ego.
Yes, of course.
And
And
so,
ego is not the enemy either.
no, in fact, one of the first things I do in the Life on Your Terms course that I run is I go, is that critic, is that voice in your head, the internal critic, is it for you, against you? And generally 75% of the audience says, if not greater, says it's against me. Mm-hmm. So what if we were to change that narrative and say it's for you? It's, it's just trying to protect us.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, Patricia, you're getting soul nudges and God bumps.
I have many gifts, a jack of all trades. I'm more confused about how I turn them into cohesive things. Yeah.
Whether it's her business or ministry. So
yeah. So
it's a puzzle. Go ahead.
Yeah. You want me to go into that one a little bit?
Sure.
So right now, my background is I come from high-end touring entertainment. As I said, I can't remember which theaters, but I know I brought made up a word. I brought shows to Canada multiple times. So I used to do Broadway bus and truck tours. I produced large-scale dance events that toured to 69 cities a year. I produced arena shows that toured around with into other people's intellectual property. So I worked in entertainment. That's my background and where I learned about leadership. And right now, in the time of COVID, so many people I know, so many friends of mine, it just got super hot in here. Let me turn my heater down. So many friends of mine, and just people in my circles, their industry literally came to a halt. And the biggest question if I'm an actor and I'm not acting, who am I? If I'm a show producer and I'm not producing, who am I? And so Patricia made some interesting points. Whether it's ministry, whether it's your business, whatever it is, those ministry, being a business, being a wife to Chip, those are vehicles. They are not your life's purpose. Your life's purpose is not ministry. Your life's purpose is not whatever your business is. Your life's purpose is not being a wife, a partner, a soulmate. Those are vehicles. Those are delivery mechanisms. And so when I'm working with the people in entertainment who literally went from 100 miles an hour to brick wall in front of them at the turn of a dime, but they've never had that, they now put their worth, right, their worthiness into that. And so, Patricia, I say your vehicles are one thing. That is your delivery mechanism for your North Star, for your source energy, for your higher sense of purpose, for your whatever your gift is. And yes, sometimes you'll make money with it. Sometimes it'll be voluntary. Sometimes it's something like serving a relationship. My vehicles are, I'm a son, I'm a husband, I'm a coach. I used to be a bar mitzvah and wedding MC. I used to be a company manager for Broadway tours. That's not who I was. Those are my delivery mechanisms. And so, Patricia, I say to you, oh, Yvonne's in the room. Boom. She's loves to see that, right? Yeah, that's great. She's part of the Gratitude Slam and the Life on Your Terms program. Yeah, there's so many messages going through.
It's all good. I got them. I'll take care of them.
Beautiful. So, Patricia, yeah, I say to you, stop compartmentalizing. Are you living your life's purpose or are you not? And if you're not, that's not a bad thing. You just go, is this a choice? Do I choose not to live it or would I like to live it? Yeah.
Yes. And you absolutely have to share. your passion and your purpose, because you're doing a disservice to yourself
Well,
and to others, because they're waiting to hear from you. You just don't know it.
no, and that's the thing is, still to this day, I often get the imposter syndrome, but it's like I'm just gonna keep putting it out there, and the more tolerance I build for my imposter syndrome, meaning like I recognize it's not gonna go there. The more tolerance I build for that imposter syndrome, the more I'm just going to say it anyways. I'm just going to put it out there anyways. And every time I go, who wants to hear this? And I put it out there and I say it, it comes back in ways that I never anticipated. The stuff that I go, this is crap. That's the stuff where people come back, this is the best you wrote yet, or the best video you've done yet, right? And so I'm like, who am I to judge my own work? I can't do it. And I got to share this. This is something I learned the hard way. And, again, going to throw out the curse, but I just think it emphasizes the need for it. Everything you think about your life's purpose when you're not living your life's purpose is shit. Either, right? Because you're either living it and in that moment, or you're letting the ego, the voice, the inner critic tear it apart.
Yeah. Are you shrinking or serving? Mm-hmm. It's not about you. I always ask, how may I serve today?
Oh, I love that question. I used to ask that question in the morning. It just evolved to other questions. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's simple. It's just an easy way to just connect to the holy instant, because it's a feeling. And if you're not feeling the connection, or the connection of the feeling, then you're out of alignment with yourself.
Yeah. I love training people to spot the feeling of incongruency faster. Right?
Yeah, that's important.
Because if you can, it's the same thing you said, but I love training people how to spot it. Super easy to say. So many people are so numb to including my past, right? It's so easy to numb ourselves to the pain.
Because there's been so much of it in 2020.
And there's been so much of it. We get used to it. And so I have to say, I'm proud of myself as an empath, as a business owner, as a coach, that if someone were to say, what am I most proud of for 2020, it is that I've been able to adapt to reality quickly and not resist reality. And that allowed me to serve others.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you for giving me the space to brag there, because I am proud of myself for that.
Hey, you know what? We don't do that enough. We'll give accolades to other people, but for ourselves, we're like, oh, okay. And then you kind of shrink. It's like, why do you do that? Who told you to do that?
And I sort of like Osho, the work of Osho. And he basically said, you can't truly love another until you can love yourself first, right? And so his theory is basically, you can't truly really give a compliment to someone else until you can give yourself the compliment first, right?
Yes.
And it's the idea of you can't pour from an empty cup, and so people have fought back on me on this before, saying, I'm a mother, right? And if you're telling me I don't love my child, I'm saying, I'm not saying you don't love your child, but I am saying, and man, this drives it home. But I am saying, if you don't love yourself, how much are you withholding from your child?
A big statement there. Probably a ton. Floodgates open.
Yeah, like if you are not offering it to yourself, if you can't have self-love, what are you denying to your child? What are you mirroring to your child? What, right? And so that's the question. And so I think to parents, that both mothers and fathers, however you identify, that generally is a strong driving force.
Yes, it is. And yeah, I was a mother, and of course I would use that excuse. So then I didn't have to look at my stuff.
Right. So how much more strongly do you show up for your your DNA buddy, your offspring, right? I'm using the word offspring not to be derogatory, but again, this idea of it is the next generation of your lineage.
It is. And I have always been transparent with my boys. I told them everything from
Right.
dropping out of school, all the stuff I did. I didn't care because I wanted them to learn to see that, what the consequences were for the choices that you make. You always have a choice.
Beautiful.
Always. So I want to be fully transparent, always, even with my audience.
Yeah. And I think that's look, that's the definition of a character, right? Is that you are who you are as often as you can, and you can recognize when you are out of character as well.
Definitely. And Patricia's just saying such wonderful advice from you both.
So I'd love to hear from because we are live, and this is something you don't get in podcasts a lot. What was maybe you asked this question, so if I'm still in the thunder, please rephrase it the way you normally would. What is the takeaway? So Demetrius, what is the next evolution, right? You're gaining knowledge, not wisdom, right? The wisdom has to be lived. You're gaining this knowledge. Perspective, maybe that's the better way to put it. You're gaining perspective. What is the next evolution that you get to incorporate into your life through the perspective of Christine, through some of the things I said, through some of the things that other people said? So Demetrius, Patricia, Yvonne, what are you taking from this to evolve from?
Yes. And 2020, even before pre-COVID started, I always had a word of an intention. What is my intention for 2020? And mine was rebirth. Oh boy, did I see that. Did whoa,
that happen?
Soul chills. Anyways, so I'm thinking about 2021. What, I want you guys to even comment here or on the podcast. What is your word for 2021? And my word is intention. I already spilled it. I've already thought about it.
Yeah.
That's my word. Everything I do will have intention. And it comes from a place of feeling, because that's my intention.
Yep. My word for 2020 was surrender. And my 2020 word, I think, is going to be champion.
Champion. Kind of like the hero,
No, actually the total opposite. Champion, the verb to champion, to take something, fully own it, and get it through to the finish line.
Yes. Okay.
And therefore, as an intention to help. I'm actually a big fan of, I am not the hero. I am the guide. And I want to be the guide. I want to help other people be the hero.
Yes, there you go. Love it. Yeah.
Yep.
Demetrius just saying accountability and transparency at all times.
Yeah.
But then he comes in reborn, rebirth, renewal, resurrection.
Yeah.
Like the phoenix.
The phoenix. Look, I love the idea of what if every night when we go to bed we die and every morning we are reborn. I love that feeling tone, right? Patricia says the overwhelming. Yeah, what did she say there? The overwhelming message for me is that you need to listen to yourself, my authentic self, and allow my gifts to be seen by the world. The right people will listen. Yeah, the people they will listen because they're there and they're hungry. They're not only hungry, they're starving.
Starving. Yeah.
Yeah, they're starving. And just remember, Patricia and everyone else, your message isn't for everybody. It just isn't. Yeah. You're worthy just because you're here and you've gone through some crap in your life. That makes you worthy. I'm a big fan of John Proctor's 4 Steps to Enlightenment. And I don't even know if they're his. I just heard him say it. You start as a victim. Everyone is a victim somewhere, right? We said that before.
Yes.
We start as a victim. Then we go to empowerment. And this is my problem with the empowerment movement, by the way. Because empowerment is just knowing, something is not in alignment, and there are tools and resources to do something with. And so we're sort of exiting the heightened era of the female, not the feminine, the female power empowerment movement. But my problem with the female empowerment movement was empowerment is nothing without the action behind it, because it was, oh, we have something we can lean into. So that part is great. The tools, the awareness, the support, the love, the energy behind it. So we go from victim to empowerment, but after empowerment happens to be, my word, surrender. Then we go, and so again, I can't take credit for this. I heard it through John Proctor. Okay, I have something I want to heal. Okay, I have something I want to move through. Okay, I have something I want to champion. And I have the tools, the support, the resources, other people who have lived this pain prior to me. So I'm going to surrender to it. And after surrender is the enlightenment.
Yes.
So, And so, Patricia, you are worthy because you've been a victim once in your life to something, your DNA, other people. You've learned you are empowered to recognize it in yourself. You've learned that there are tools like your podcast, Christine, and now you can surrender to, I've got something I want to heal, or I want to heal others. I'm surrendering to this purpose. I'm surrendering to it. And I have the tools. Why do I have the tools? Because I've been through the victimhood already. And that victimhood is more, and now there are other people who are in victim. You are empowered, and just being in that empowered spot, Patricia and Demetrius and everyone else that's listening, is what makes you worthy to share it with others.
Yes, and we want you to share. There's a light in all of you that is so holy, that the whole world is sanctified by it.
Yeah, your truth. Even just another again lexicon. Your truth is what sanctifies.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And everybody, we're all. I see us as mystical travelers as well. We're all on the path. We're all on the path, and there is. I always get asked, like, what's my destiny? What's my path? What should I be doing? And it's like, okay, you already know the answer. You just got to uncover it, and I just shine the light.
That's what I'm saying. You already are whole and complete. Maybe you feel broken, but you're whole and complete feeling broken, right? And the answer is in you. And that's what, this, Patricia, you're a coach too, right? Coaching, really powerful coaching, is getting it out of the person. We all have it in us already. It is all there. It's like the statue of David that Michelangelo said, the sculpture was always there. I just chipped out of it.
Yes.
I chipped it out.
Chipped it out. Demetrius, dependent by the different levels and degrees of consciousness, awareness, mindfulness. Yes. Absolutely.
And so I love that Demetrius played off this is raising the vibration. To raise a vibration is to raise my consciousness level, which means being less life happening by me and to me, and that we can teach one another.
Yeah, realizing that life is happening for me, not to me. That's a big shift for a lot of people. Patricia's just saying we heal ourselves by helping to heal others. Yeah. That's a beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you could put that up on the wall, like I was
going to say, put that up.
Yeah. Put all your mantras, affirmations, decrees, and work it. Just work it, believe it, affirm it. I'm really big on vision boards. I call them dream boards.
Okay.
And everyone's like, well, I don't know where to start. I'm like, start in the middle. What do you love? Put it there, and then you branch out like a tree. That's how I work dream boards with my clients, because it's all about dreaming. We need to dream more, play more, have more fun, and the creativity is part of that and part of the healing, and that's where you're going to find your purpose, legacy, passion, all of that.
It is found there. I agree. Yeah, it's totally found there.
Love that, Demetrius. Galactic alchemist. And we are our own alchemists. Paul Cole wrote a great book called The Alchemist. That's a beautiful book.
Yeah, great
I love the imagery. Like I was there in the book. I just love how he wrote it. That was his gift.
That was his gift. So just to dovetail off that. So you can see up here, I've got the Little Prince, and then the Alchemist is over here on the side.
Nice.
So before we came online, I told you I was out in the Middle East 2 weeks ago. And one of the reasons I wanted to go is because I loved the imagery of the alchemist. And we went out for a day to the desert because I was like, I want to see what that kind of vastness actually looks like. And that was just fascinating.
No doubt. Just it's something, I mean, you can try to put in the book, but to see it for yourself.
It was important to me to see that because we had to do something social distancing. So nothing more social distancing than going out to, what
The desert.
the largest sand dune desert in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The only sand dunes I've seen was in California when I was visiting the Redwoods, which is another eighth wonder of the world, but very interesting.
I see I can share screen. I know podcast listeners won't hear, but you want to see a quick photo of the vastness?
Sure. Let's see it.
Hold on. I'm just finding the right photo to share with you. Just because when I saw it, I was like, "This is the alchemist at its in its form." Trying to find the right photo to share. I'm gonna pull it up. Oh my gosh, why is it not up here? Here we go.
Because we're live.
Here we go. How do I share screen on this program? Share screen. Share screen. I'm gonna just share this screen here. So here it is. Here's me and Lauren in the desert.
Okay, hold on here. I'm going to add it to the stream. There we go. Oh, wow. Look at that. Wow. Now, guys, if you're on podcast and you want to see this, come back and have a look at it because that's amazing. And I bet, and how warm was it?
That was their cool season. So that you can see I'm in short sleeves. We've got the head stuff on. It was like, there's like a 6-week period that the weather's like that. And it was just, super, super perfect is the way to describe it.
Yes.
But you definitely get a sense of how hot it could be because you're just standing there in the sun. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I could see that being pretty awful.
Yeah, heat and me, not so much. So I as much as I love it, no, not so much. All right. Wow. It's been amazing. You've shared so much with us. I'm sure we could talk for hours. Patricia is also saying, she put the chaplain training on the vision board 3 years ago. Boom, here we are. 3s are all about aligning mind, body, spirit. So, everything is happening for a reason, my dear. And hi, Kelly. Miss Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
So nice to see you. Thanks for being here. And Demetrius loves the scenery. So do I. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, I wanted to do that because I wanted to embody the imagery from The Alchemist. That's the only reason I brought it up. It just happens again. How about that? Just happened 2 weeks ago. You're talking about it.
Synchronicity.
Synchronicity, serendipity. Yes is the answer. And this has been on the books for a while. So this was built on the books well before that vacation. So isn't that fun?
Yeah. Funny. I mean, we booked this a couple months ago. So I love it. I love all the energy. You guys, if you have any other questions, feel free to share. I left a way to connect with Michael, of course, through his website. You also do short 1-minute videos on Instagram, like coaching.
So I do 1-minute videos on Instagram that are based on coaching. But the predominant place to find my work is on the Gratitude Slam on Facebook.
Gotcha.
And it's a pretty intimate group. It's got like 1,400 people, but it's a super potent group of like-minded individuals who, using Demetrius's words, want to raise the vibration, want to be able to manifest more in their life. And I didn't create the Gratitude Slam as a way to feel good, though it is a byproduct that comes out of it. But it's a way to focus on what do I have in my life right now? What can I do with it? And we post daily questions. There's a lot of engagement. I respond to basically everybody. It takes a lot of time to do it, but it is my life's purpose. I don't need to be paid for it. And from that, we also run a program called Life in the Gratitude Slam. We run a program that I mentioned called Life on Your Terms, which I've got 2 more cohorts launching in January, an afternoon one and an evening one. And it is a group coaching session capped at 40 people. That's all about aligning with your higher self, your life's purpose, and truly tangibly finding ways to get out to partner with the ego, to partner with the inner critic, not to poo-poo it. We don't want to poo-poo it. That puppy's there to help you thrive, but to recognize, again, when we're out of congruency with ourselves, and when sometimes the voice is forcing us out of congruency to protect us as well.
Yes, absolutely. Demetrius is just thanking everyone. he's a great helper. Thank you so much, Demetrius, for your beautiful energy and your love when you show up live. Patricia is sending so much love to us both. Thank you for your invaluable encouragement. You're so welcome, and have a wonderful, amazing day, everyone, until we meet again. I know, Demetrius, it's pretty much midnight for you.
Oh, wow.
Where you are, so get some rest, my brother. And Epic Live and Elizabeth.
Hi, Erod. That's Erod.
Ah, okay. Hello. Thanks for showing up. So nice to see you.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, guys, like I said, I'll leave all the links. If you have any comments, questions, please leave them there. Even on the replay, we won't leave you stranded. And I'm just going to share a few things quickly. Join me on Instagram every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for a prayer circle where you're going to practice prayer. We will put some prayers out for you, for friends, for family, and just have a really, great chat talking about A Course in Miracles as well, because that's an important part of my journey and my purpose. And if you're wondering a little bit about the rest of November, I have a beautiful energy update that I do every month. So November is up on YouTube. I do a weekly energy update, so check that out as well. And yeah, you know what? I have a mentorship coming up in January. So one-on-one, you guys are always like, what's my purpose? Am I intuitive? Of course you are.
Yeah.
Let's find out. Let's find out where you're going. And it's 6 weeks, one-on-one, also group as well. So comment, mentorship. It starts January 2021, which is right around the corner.
Very cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Yes.
A lot of moving parts. Wonderful. So many opportunities to heal.
Yeah, I try and give as much as I can, tithing as they call it. It's not always through money. It's through service, acts of service. And
absolutely.
Just like you do, Michael. So thank you for everything you do as well.
Oh, same. It's great to be aligned with you here.
All right, guys, I love you so much. Have an amazing rest of your evening, week, wherever you're tuning in from. And if you have any comments, suggestions, or you have some guests that you would love to have on my show, send them my way. I'm always open to it, guys. It's all about synchronicity and serendipity. All right, and please remember, healing begins where the ego ends. Take care, guys. Love you.
Namaste.